Hey everyone, welcome to my new YouTube channel, Tarantula Tea. My name's Rosanna, and you guessed it, we're gonna talk tarantulas. So, I recently started getting into this hobby where most people have big opinions or curiosity about. You either get the really intrigued people or you get the people who are like, I don't want anything to do with a tarantula. And that's totally fine. I'm not the type of person who wants to persuade you one way or the other, because let's face it, if you would have told me probably a few years ago, hey, I have a bunch of tarantulas at my house, I would have been in the same position as a lot of people that I've talked to. But I will say, since becoming really interested and educated about these tarantulas, I obviously have a moderation issue. We have a lot now, and we've learned a lot. But I love it, and I like sharing these facts and making them less scary than most people seem to think that they are. So, with that being said, how did this start? How do I have a bunch of tarantulas now? And basically what happened is I went to a reptile expo, which they're pretty common in my area. I've been to several. Somehow I've avoided the tarantula booths and breeders, and I made the mistake this November of asking the question, what is the best beginner species? Before I knew it, my friend and I were handed this tiny vial with a baby tarantula inside, and the breeder assured us that this was a good beginner species. And off we went into the land of, oh man, look what happened. What we discovered though about our tiny little beginner species tarantula is honestly not so much. The beginner part of it, no, I wouldn't recommend this to any beginner unless they were an adult. So that's probably why he handed us the tarantula he did. So this is the little guy that he handed me in his enclosure. You probably won't even get to see the actual spider. He's appropriately named Phobia, and he is a Psalmopaeus erminia. Now, the reason I'm saying his scientific name is that is one thing that I learned in this hobby is really important. We don't like to use common names because that makes everything confusing. So this is the first hobby that I've been in where it's really heavy on actually knowing the scientific name. And once you start to research and become familiar, it comes easier as you go. In the beginning, it's very overwhelming, and I'm doing Googling like crazy when people post certain species that I've never encountered before. But it's really cool because you're constantly pushing yourself to learn about these new and different species of tarantula. Now, with that being said, he does have a common name, and it's pretty cool. He's considered a Venezuelan sun tiger, and the reason he's called that is he has black and orange, just like a tiger would, and here's why he's not a beginner species, in my opinion. He is fast. Yeah, and that's an understatement. So this species is known to do what's called teleporting. And really that's not an issue if they're in their little enclosure, but there's this fun thing that you have to do with tarantulas every now and then when they get too big for their britches, and you have to rehouse. So whenever you are rehousing a tarantula is really when you take into account all of the specific things about each tarantula and why that's important. So with this guy, not only is he fast, but he is venomous. Actually, all tarantulas are venomous, but they have different degrees of how severe their venom is. So we will deep dive into all of these things in further videos because there is so much to learn, and it's really cool when you slice it into smaller, more digestible parts than to just word vomit at somebody. And that's really the beauty of this YouTube channel is I'm going to be able to cut little sections of knowledge, and you can take them at your own pace, and you can actually enjoy learning about them instead of zoning out and walking away because you couldn't stand to learn 20 minutes of tarantula facts, because let's be real, I could talk about them all day. It really is one of the more fun pets that I've had to talk about, and I've had a lot of different pets, but this one gets the biggest reaction. So I hope to make them less scary. I hope to get you intrigued. I do not persuade anyone to, after this video, rush right into doing what I did. I had the funds for it. I had the knowledge. I had all of these things into place to where this was possible. This is not for everybody. And some people are not comfortable having a tarantula in their home. So watching these YouTube videos could be your fix. There's plenty of great information out there. Some videos that I really went down the rabbit hole on were Tarantula Collective first and foremost. Richard does a great job of species-specific videos, and this was extremely helpful in the beginning because if there was husbandry information, enclosure size, stages of life, all of these different things available for me to be sure that I knew what I was getting into with a certain tarantula, I felt more confident. And I knew that that tarantula would be in the correct environment and I wasn't guessing. So he was very helpful. And then a more casual channel where you can just watch and learn as you go, but it's not so education heavy. It's more of hang out, watch some spiders, and see them do their thing. Tarantula Kat. I love just turning those on and having them run in the background. Those aren't the only two channels by any means. There's just two beneficial channels that really taught me a lot up front as a beginner. So you can check those out, and then I plan to do more specific videos as this goes, and I hope that you enjoy and tune in and you start to really get interested and learn about these guys, because there's a lot, like I keep repeating, there's just so much to learn about these. One thing that keeping tarantulas also has made me very aware of is certain zoos and aquariums and just tarantulas that were even at big box stores that I didn't even know that they carried them. And also just even the employees that I had help me when I was buying tarantulas, they weren't very familiar with them. Even the husbandry, and what I mean by husbandry is the conditions of the way that they're keeping tarantulas in these big box stores. A lot of them just don't know how to keep them appropriately, and some enclosures can actually be dangerous. So these are all things that I want to go over, and hopefully the more people that are watching these videos that normally wouldn't will get interested, and it'll become more mainstream knowledge. This is a fairly new hobby. There's not terribly a bunch of information on certain things. Like one thing that needs to be studied more that I've found out is about the venom of tarantulas. We know a lot about snake venom, but arachnid venom, there's still more to be desired that could be found out. So it's really cool that we're coming further in this hobby and we have more access to certain species, and we get to experience and keep different ones that, you know, are popping up every day that become available. But like I said, this is a hobby where you can get carried away, and I don't encourage that. I really want people to go at their own pace, and even if that pace is just watching YouTube videos, totally fine. But yeah, more to come, and I can't wait to share it with you, and thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.